In Season 2, Episode 5 of House of the Dragon, House Frey is there to remind us, even 170 years before the events of Game of Thrones, that they run the most expensive toll booth in all of Westeros. House Frey is a top 3 antagonist in a Game of Thrones, really only falling behind House Lannister and truly duking it out with House Bolton for second place, where I really think that they just tie for biggest scumbag asshole that defected from Robb Stark's army. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, is House Frey and their shenanigans and all of the connivery that they get into, is it hereditary? Is it in their genes and their DNA? Is that just simply who they are? Or going back 170 years before a Game of Thrones, before Lord Walder, were they a different house? Did they ever have a chance, or were they fucked from the start? Let's go back and take a look. Okay, guys, so before we get into the origin story and the history of House Frey, let's go here and take a look at the map. I want to show you guys where their castle's at on a map strategically and all that good stuff, just so we can kind of understand where they're coming from here. They are in the northern Riverlands, the most prominent castle and house that north there in the Riverlands. They're kind of like the Umbers, the last hearth of the Riverlands, just because not far after that here in the neck, it's going to turn into the north. Okay, so this is where the twins are. They're located at the Green Fork, and as we can all surmise, the twins, right, there's 2 castles, one on each side of the Green Fork with a bridge connecting them there. That's where it's at. There's the twins. Okay, Seaguard would be like the next prominent castle below them. They have their own issues with the Ironborn. They're at Ironman's Bay. And I'm getting a little bit too much into the weeds already. So I'm going to stop there. I just wanted to show you guys on the map real quick where the twins are. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts here of House Frey and get to know them a little bit more. What are they known for? What are they all about? Well, you know, it does in fact have pretty much everything to do with that goddamn bridge that's connected to those 2 castles, right? The Lord of the Crossing is what Lord Frey is always known as. And guess what? Sometimes people just set up camp in the right place, next to a healthy stream with tons of berries there and good wood for a nice fire. And that's pretty much what House Frey did. They very wisely set up there on the Green Fork, very wide river, as we saw, as we've seen multiple times. And they have a castle on each side of the river there, and they know that if people are traveling and they need to get to the other side of the bank there, they cannot cross through the water. It's too treacherous. So they have to pay that big fat coin to get to the other side. We see Robb Stark do that in the first season of Game of Thrones. Oh, Robb. Oh, Robb. Don't make promises. You can't keep people there. That is a life lesson, not just a Game of Thrones lesson. But yeah, again, that's primarily what they're known for. Again, it's made them incredibly wealthy, as one might imagine. Okay, so if that was all the small talk, let's elevate that to medium talk here and discuss the traits of House Frey. Right off the top here, just known for being Weasley and stoatish. Appearance of their common ancestor, Lord Walder. No Prince Rhaegars or Jaime Lannisters in his brood, I guess, is what we're to take away from that. And that's fine, right? Not everyone's a beauty queen. But the other thing here, and again, this is something that I just alluded to before, the Freys are considered to be upstarts and toll collectors. Guys, we just went over that, right? They're not coming from some great house like Lannister or Stark, or even stuff like, you know, Umbers or Tullys or Hightowers or, you know, Baratheons, etc., right? They don't come from some great ancestor that did some great deed or won some significant battle and then, you know, held their reign over some region or kingdom for, you know, centuries, right? They don't come from anything like that. Again, they are very much like they were in the right place at the right time, and they built their castle in the right place at the right time, and they've built their wealth through that. You know, kind of like a Littlefinger, right? Littlefinger's considered to be an upstart, comes from very humble beginnings, and then they obviously rise to the top there as someone that holds significant power and control. You know, in some parts of the world, starting from humble beginnings and then achieving great feats because you worked your ass off and made savvy business moves and decisions, that's something to be celebrated, but not in Westeros, apparently. No one likes that shit, right? You're supposed to be an ancient old house that's been around for thousands of years, and you just keep passing down the you know, the family heirloom and a family house and a castle and all of the lands that come with it to your son and their sons. A lot of nepotism, right? Nobody wants upstarts here. I think of Baelish too, Littlefinger. In both the book and the show, you do see that he's kind of looked at that way. He's someone that comes from a similar background, very modest upbringing, very, very minor house. And then through, you know, again, working your ass off, got to somewhere great. I guess the big thing with this is, with the Freys, and I guess you could tie this into Littlefinger too, just to pull him into this conversation. It's what do you do with it? Okay, what do you do with all of that wealth and everything that you achieve from that, don't be a Frey, I guess, is one way to put it. So that's just some of the traits and how they're perceived to be from their peers, and maybe not just the Riverlands, but probably all over the continent. Okay, so just to elaborate some more on the history of House Frey, how they came to be, how they got their castle, and all of their wealth and power. They go back 6 centuries. Like I said before, they are newer to the realm in regards to their lordship and noble status. They're not a Stark. They're not a Lannister. They are not an Oakhart or a Rowan or any of those houses like that from the Reach or a Hightower, a Martell. They're nothing like that. Again, they're newer to this game here. But as we can see here, and I wanted to touch on this because I made it sound before like it was more like they were just in the right place in the right time to get these lands. They are awarded these lands and given this noble status. So it's not like they just walked, from the wall all the way down to Sunspear in hopes of finding like where they might set up shop. They were awarded these lands. The guy that did this, I mean, I don't know how much money he cost his family by gifting these lands, because like it seems like the second that the first Lord Frey got his lordship, like he's instantly like, yeah, I know what we got to do here. Maybe he's just a young Logan Roy set in a Westerosi world. Again, very, very business savvy. It instantly just sees like the big picture scheme here. Like I got to make a castle on this side, a castle on the other side, and a bridge, and then we're going to collect a toll from everyone that wants to pass. Very smart. The person that gifted the first Lord Frey those lands, not so smart. I don't know if they're still around. I'd like to get a little bit more information maybe on who they are. Bad business move though. Like all-time Westerosi, like if you wanted to do like a video on that, what are the worst Westerosi business moves of all time? That's got to be up there right there. I mean, he just gave that away. I don't know what he did to earn that, but surely you didn't have to give him all that. The last thing I wanted to touch on in this video is the most recent version of House Frey, and that would be under Lord Walder Frey. We go all the way back to Robert's Rebellion and the big battle, the Trident, where Robert kills Prince Rhaegar, and it completely just swings the battle in the war completely in favor of the rebels. Only with like the sack of King's Landing being like a more critical moment that happens after that. Obviously, Lord Hoster Tully at that point there is very much a humongous part of the rebels there with Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark and then Jon Arryn. House Frey and Lord Walder Frey, being a bannerman of Hoster Tully, was supposed to be there, and he does eventually get there, but he gets there after the battle's already been won, and that absolutely just royally pissed off Hoster Tully to the point where he calls Lord Walder Frey the late Lord Frey from here on out after that. Showing up when the battle is already over is just absolute Bush League type of stuff there from your bannerman. Does it stop there? Absolutely not. Hoster Tully's not going to forget that, right? He's not going to forget that his bannerman showed up late to this like super critical battle there when they're already risking their necks because they are the rebels. They're not the loyalists. They're rebelling against the crown. Can't count on this guy. Well, hey, guess what? This dude all of a sudden wants to marry one of his daughters off to Hoster Tully's heir, Edmure. Hoster Tully says no. The shade throwing does not stop there as Lord Walder marries his 7th wife, and Hoster Tully is like, yeah, I'm not going to that. Which, you know what? I don't blame him. If you get married for the 7th time and you're actually having a wedding and expecting people to come again for the 7th time and buy you gifts and spend money on suits and hotels and travel, transportation, just no. Okay, good for you. You found your 7th match out there, but just do it privately. Don't expect everybody to go to that. Okay, that's just my take on that. I don't blame Hoster Tully for not going to that one. Are we done shitting on Lord Walder Frey? Absolutely not, because when Lord Jon Arryn is presented with the opportunity of a lifetime of taking a young Frey, a grandson Frey, to Lord Walder to court at King's Landing, to foster him and give him just absolutely every single opportunity that the young man's ever wanted, because he's a Frey, right? And he certainly deserves that. Jon Arryn says no. Okay, and to make it even better, Jon Arryn also turns down an opportunity for little Robert Arryn, little Robin, sweet Robin. We know about Robin, right? Yeah, we know about Robin. I don't need to pull an image or a graphic up for him. We remember that image is seared into our brains forever from 13 years ago. But he was turned. They're going to give him an opportunity to go to the Twins and have him fostered at the Twins. And no, that's not cool either. We're actually not going to do that either. But hey, thanks, Lord Walder. Appreciate it. Real quick here before we end, just wanted to go back to this here because I thought that was such a good scene in episode 5 where we got to go to the Frey. Anytime you get to see a castle, a different castle that's not Dragonstone or King's Landing, it was really cool. We did see some good stuff, and I'll go more into that with my episode recap that should come out in the next day or two. But again, well done with the casting of Lord Frey. I thought it was very smart to put Lady Frey up there with him, just because Lord Walder, we know that he is very misogynistic. He does not put any stock into females other than, hey, this is going to be a person that's going to help carry on my line with my heirs. So I thought it was a good idea to, again, very business savvy, right? Get the toll, get the coin, not letting anyone pass without them giving us something. But I thought it was very smart to put Lady Frey up there with him, just to show you that even though this is someone that still has the same last name as Walder Frey, and someone that very much does not forget where their castle is located and what they can extract out of those different kinds of transactions, he's not completely like Walder, right? Like, he obviously like respects his lady wife's opinion. That's why she's sitting at the table with him. So I thought that that was a nice little like wrinkle and caveat that they put into that character, just because we all see and remember what Lord Walder was. Just a complete douchebag and an asshole. So again, not to say that this guy is, the shining white knight there, aiming the dragon knight or anything like that, but I did think that that was a very clever move to put his lady wife at the table with him, where she had a voice as well. Because again, we remember House Frey for what we remember House Frey for. Again, super misogynistic, didn't put any value into females at all other than reproducing. And this Lord Frey, he has his wife's up there, and she did a lot of the talking too, right? So I thought that was really cool, and again, very smart. It brought a different element to our perspective of what House Frey is. So that's the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I just wanted to go back and take a look, because I even forgot a lot of that stuff myself, about where House Frey came from, how did they come across their lands, different moments in time. I do remember the funny stuff with Lord Walder Frey. I did laugh for a second whenever Jay said, well, what do you want? And I was thinking, dude, oh my God, are they going to say a marriage pact? Please don't say a marriage pact, just because of all the bad memories there with Rob. And, look, a lot of that's on Rob. Okay. That's a whole different video. But yeah, it was really good episode, and really cool scene there and moment with the Freys there at the Twins. So I just wanted to make this little video and talk kind of about just a really brief history, summary, origin story of the Freys, where they came from, what else they're known for other than the events of what takes place in a Game of Thrones. So drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. What did you think about the casting, the acting? What did you think about these new Freys that are introduced into the story of House of the Dragon? How do they compare to the Game of Thrones version? And what do you think's in store? Let me know in the comments. Please like if you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.